Hello and welcome, everybody. Whew, hoping everybody's getting a notification that I'm on. I'm doing YouTube Live, on Instagram Live, not on Facebook. Not on Facebook Live. Facebook Live is going to have to be something different. But I am here to give you some 411. And it's been, oh my goodness. I gotta say, I am exhausted. I don't know about anybody else. Hey, Jacqueline. I'm just like, ah. Um, had physio this morning and didn't want to. Today's my official day off, although she didn't need me to go in, but I decided not to go in because I really needed the day off. Um, and then we had some bad news yesterday. We found out that my brother-in-law passed away, God rest his soul. And that was a little bit sort of took me back, wasn't expecting it. Um, Sent my sister a message and got a beautiful response. So that was really nice. So sending her out lots of love and stuff. We're kind of estranged within our relationship, but she's always in my thoughts and my prayers and her family as well. So I did some prayers this morning. I dedicated the rosary this morning, and part of the rosary I was dedicating this morning to her to was for a peaceful death. That was part of the glorious mysteries, and is to have a peaceful, how can you say, a nice death, meaning that you're not going through it through fear or what have you. So my prayers was that he transitioned peacefully, and to my understanding, his family was around him. So that's really beautiful when that happens too. So anyway, sending out lots of love there. But let's get into this astrology. Let's get into the crazy. Now, I got notes, scribbly notes that I did, and doing some of the scribbly notes, but there's a lot. There is a lot. We have Jupiter is now retrograde. Mercury will be going direct in a couple days. We're in what from September to November. We are in Hades land, Hades world. We're in the bowels of hell. We're not in purgatory, but we're in hell. Let's just face it, we're in hell. Um, there are light workers. There are people here to help us and guide us. I mean, many of you are the light workers to help and guide others to get through this. We have some massive events that are going to be coming, and this is preparing us because everything's going to start hitting next week as things start going a little bit crazy. We have with this, with these two there's massive events. Now, this is going back to, we had Jupiter who retrograde in Gemini back in 2012. We also had Mercury's in Libra, and it's going to be going into Scorpio and forming a huge yacht. And then we have the sun and moon in the first quarter square, and then Pluto direct. Right now, we have Mars squaring Chiron, and Chiron in Aries, and squaring Pluto as well. So we have some really strong energy that's coming in to really get people to awaken, to get people to see what's going on. And this week, there is bringing some extremely positive through all of this, and that's getting us prepared for the craziness, because it's what you don't think is going to happen, or what you think is done or is over, is what's going to be coming forward. 2019 was really the split within the collective, whether you believe, 2019, 2020 is when a lot of people, they either believed me or didn't believe me, thought I was crazy, thought I was blowing shit out my ass, and didn't want to hear it anymore. And now we're heading into, where it's looking very dicey, and we need to rely on our spiritual work. Like, this is so intringent to, what I'm gonna call, uh, the red alert, to start paying attention spiritually. Like, this is all your spiritual work, everything that you've learned about meditation and prayer and being a light worker and standing in your truth and taking 100% responsibility for everything. This is where it is, we're coming to the end of that 2012 cycle, the 16-year cycle. We're coming to the end of an age, and this is the last Pluto cycle. And Pluto at 29 degrees Capricorn is really this, especially when we're I'll get into this a little, but when we're getting into um the degree of 29 degrees of Capricorn, it is all about the deep, dark secrets that come up. It's about boardrooms. It's about meeting behind closed doors, the doors that we would never see, right? And these doors of deep secrets are going to be starting to come out. Now, I said, with the beginning of September was Pluto moving from Aquarius and into Capricorn, and now he'll be going back into Aquarius, but that's not till November. Right now, we're kind of like we're in this halfway point, and this is where things are going to get triggered, truly, and triggered, and especially as we're in between these worlds. And this full moon in Aries, which is coming up next week, is the halfway point. And a lot of things we're not going to see. We're not going to see fully what's going to be coming ahead. We're going to have a knowingness. We're going to be um, witnessing some things, but we won't really see until March to June of 2025. Like, 2025 is the epitome of years that I understand why so many people are leaving this earth plane now. So many people are not wanting to be here on this earth plane because, as their soul or their spirit are saying, they're getting like, okay, we're not prepared. We're not prepared to go through this. So this is where you're going to find many loved ones passing away. Many people are not wanting to stay here. Many people are going to be finding that they're going to be losing their shit completely. And it's going to be hard. I mean, for us, just, I mean, finding out about my brother-in-law, and then even one of the girls at work just losing her shit. It's just, which for me, it's like, I gotta have patience. I gotta have patience. Um, it's what we are going to be witnessing, and it's going to be in those time frames, and it's going to be the real deal. Right? And there's gonna be a lot popping up. I mean, we have Mercury squaring Pluto, Pluto going direct, we got a huge, and then with that, there's a yod with the um, Neptune and Uranus, or Neptune and Pluto no, it's Neptune and Uranus in a sextile forming the yod with, um, Mercury, so the finger of God. And the thing is that we've seen this before when Mercury was retrograde 3 times, but it mainly, this was sort of like hitting our subconscious, right? We knew something was popping up. We knew something was going on, but now things are hitting, things are coming in. And with the South Node in Libra, we are wanting to find that harmony and finding that place where we can connect and the people that we want to connect with and chill. And this is about asserting that type of action. Now, Capricorn, we have the moon coming in, forming the square, the first quarter square with the sun, and then he's going to be coming up conjunct with Pluto, and that's going to start triggering things. So this is also forming what we call a huge cardinal cross in the sky. And so extreme crazy shit, and it's all connected to 2020. And so it's like, I'm gonna say buckle up, buckle up. This is to find, that peace. Peace is to be found in all of this, but we really have to buckle up. We really have to take note of what is going on over all these energies and what we're trying to manifest. And we're going along for this ride. We signed up for this. I mean, I know many of you are saying, but no, I didn't. Yeah, you did. You're here. You're part of the light working team. And this is where, I feel, so many souls are on the other side. And, many, spiritualists and mediums have talked about this, about, there's still so many souls on the other side watching over. And, and I feel like I just got this crowded room and they're like, okay, we're all here, but where's God? And then finally, when God shows up in the room and he's saying, okay, this is, things are going to get a little overwhelming. And that's where God just throws everything into hell because he goes, we got to clean this shit up. And that's what's going to happen. We're in it. We started entering the hellish times in September, which I mentioned way back in June, and I was talking about it last year that September, October, November are going to be those crazy times. This is when the shit is really going to start hitting the fan, and we're going to start seeing it. We're going to start feeling it this weekend, but really seeing it come forth this coming week on Monday. And this is where, societal norms, this is where things are just going to get a little off. We are going to be into the intensity. And if I'm going to predict anything or say anything, this is where World War III really looks like World War III. And that's starting next week. And it's not to scare people, it is to awaken you, to prepare you. I've been preparing people since 2019. Get this, get this, get this. Here's your list. This is what you need to be doing. And, if anybody, I'm going to say, if anybody's not listening or people who aren't watching me now and they start asking me questions, they're going to say, go back to this video, watch this video, because I'm trying to tell you this shit now. So this is what we're going to be seeing, and especially with this full moon in Aries. So this full moon on the 17th is going to kick off a lot of shit. It's going to bring a lot of stuff up. This is where, and especially with Mercury retrograde, this is where, and it's going back to 10 degrees right on the spot of Aldebaran and what needs to change. So discussions are happening. This is also where, way too many unpredictabilities, and as I say, this is where God throws in and Hades takes over and says, let's get some fucking cleanup going on here, buddy. And the training wheels are off. There's no more training wheels. This is like, okay, full-fledged, get on your bike, let's start riding. You know where the brakes are, you know where the gears are. Let's start moving. And this is going to be, I feel, as we're going into this coming weekend, I can already feel it, and I feel that's part of my exhaustion that I'm feeling right now. It's going to be feeling times 10, for crazy. And this is where a lot of people are going to start getting scared. We're going to hear a lot more about wars, guns, the violence, and it's going to escalate. It's just going to get crazy because it has to get to an awakening. And that's the whole thing. People have sat on the sidelines. We've seen the craziness that just happened on the 7th. That was happening in Ontario and in Vancouver and Toronto and all these different places. And the craziness is just going to escalate in order for people to get, you know, awakened. We just had the leader of the opposition got thrown out yesterday, and he wasn't even there when they did it. He was doing a press conference when that slimy Speaker of the House came up and said, oh, blah, 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 this all happened, and now he won't apologize, so he's not allowed in until question period next day. So he wasn't even allowed in. So this causes tension. This causes where people are saying, what the fuck? No, this is not right. This is where we want our leaders to stand up and say, hey, what's going on? But there's this deepness of darkness that we don't know, that it's been being played for a long time, that's going to come up. And this is where the big guys, the council doors, this is going to be exploiting a lot. And with the Sabian symbol on 30 degrees or 29 degrees and go 1 to 30 with the Sabian symbols, 0 to 29 in geometry, throw everything at them. So we're going to start seeing everything coming out. Now, this is going to be for a year to a year and a half of this crazy. This isn't just like, oh, well, it's just this week. No, this is where Wuhan, the asteroid, or is making its appearance again. And this is where the restrictions or this no open, I'm trying to read my writing, but this is where we're going to be coming back to restrictions, but not in the way that people think. That's the whole thing. People aren't thinking about the virus, but some new crazy virus is going to come out of this, and the fear is going to come out. That throw of everything and the craziness that's going to come forward with all of this. So this is going to be where, you know, if think people might be feeling trapped within a relationship. And this is where it's really looking at the relationships that you're in and the relationships that you have right now is so important. This is where, excuse me, major decisions are coming in, and what you believe ain't happening, right? So these are the darkest truths. These are the things that are coming forward that, with the planet are triggering, are awakening, and that are bringing everything in. And by October 14th, we're going to see shit start happening. So there's going to be the war thing, there's going to be the virus thing, and then there's going to be the money thing. Because Pluto is in Capricorn, so they're going to trigger things to do because they need the stimulus, they need the money in order to get things going. Heightened um, throughout the Middle East. Iran is an Aries country. So with the heightened, with the full moon coming in, hitting up within Eris is there, Chiron is there. So this is really going to start triggering things from that full moon. And this is where, the bank crisis are going to come up. People didn't realize that we had, I think, 4 of our banks were in bailout mode here in Canada. I think TD, Royal Bank, Bank of Montreal, and I think it might have been the Scotia Bank. And the thing is, a lot of people think the co-ops are fine, or feel the co-ops are fine, but some of the co-ops rely on the bigger banks, because if the bigger banks go, doesn't mean that the co-ops can continue going, right? Because they're a smaller bank. So a lot of the co-ops that have been doing loans and things like for cars or other, smaller loans won't be doing them, or they're going to be canceling or selling off the loan to somebody else, some other big guy. So this is where, Monday, we're going to start hearing more about the bank crisis. And that's with that Venus opposition to Uranus. And with Mars squaring over to the sun, too many things happening. Pluto's going forward. And so everything from October 11th to October the 14th, we have that direct. And this is where things start really amping up. And all levels. So from Friday to Sunday, we're going to start feeling that heaviness coming through the weekend. By Monday, everything's going to start hitting. So when it comes to the money system, and this is where people are going to be losing their shit. And they're going to, you're going to hear, well, oh, I don't know, the Peter Pan syndrome. Oh, don't worry about it. We're all going to be fine. No, this is where, I've said, have some money aside, get your shit in order. I mean, I don't know, fortunate or unfortunate, have like no money, literally. Um, have a little bit of money, not like nothing to sneeze at, put aside in my house. But I mean, this is where, retail, people think retail is going to do well this year by Christmas time. Nah, it ain't. It ain't. I mean, just going to work, and it's the first time I've ever seen Chinook Mall. Now, if anybody's from Calgary, they'll know about Chinook Mall. Has been dead, like dead. Like this is where you, yeah, there's people there, but it's not as busy as what it had been in the past. They don't have the traffic going there. Um, some people might think, you know, there's a lot of people in the mall, but watch to see what they're carrying. Nobody's carrying bags, right? They're just walking around just for the sake of walking around or getting out and getting exercise. So the money's not there. And this is why on Monday, we're going to start seeing it going crazier. Now, I know my people are like, well, that's in the States. Yeah, but the States has a huge effect on us, especially when it comes to our economy and how everything's going. Things are going crazier in Parliament here in Canada. Um, and it's just and things are going everywhere. I mean, France is calling in the troops. I mean, they're getting ready. They're preparing, right? They got brigades being set up around their border. So France is getting set up for the war. These things that are going to come out from these hurricanes, like you're going to hear something crazy come out about the hurricanes, some kind of disease, some kind of craziness with mosquitoes is going to come out about the hurricanes. So there's going to be something crazy coming out because more hurricanes are hitting, and they're just smashing, not only smashing, everybody's focused on Florida. Nobody's focused on the coast of Canada or what's happening and hitting in France right now too. They're getting 150-mile-hour winds in France, right? In the States, Walmart took all the meat and dairy off the shelves, yeah. And some, not like in some states, yeah. They did. And some of it, in taking it off, yeah, it's just crazy. It is. This is the nutters that is happening. Now, we're entering into it this weekend. So here's my warning, people. I've warned people about this week. I've warned people about it September, October, November. And shit is like this isn't even this is like the big stuff. The big stuff. So October 11th. And this is where, with Wuhan coming in, and the sun is going to be squaring Wuhan, and Jupiter retrograde, and all of the I just this is what I wrote. All fucking shit coming out of nowhere. And with the sun squares. So all that shit with Wuhan from 4 years ago. And with 4 years ago, we had with the Pluto at 18 degrees or Jupiter at 18 degrees um, in Capricorn. We had Pluto was there, and then we had Saturn there. So we had this is sort of a repeat. So that's what Pluto does. He goes in here and he's bringing in this repeat where you thought everything was done from 4 years ago. And he's saying, no, you guys haven't dealt with fuck all. You guys haven't even dealt with it. And I'm going to bring in the real shit now. And that's why I said, I told people by the end of October, you're going to start hearing about a virus. You're going to start hearing about some craziness, and it's going to start really popping, right? And things are really going to start happening, and we're going to see it, and with that sun square Pluto. So with seeing that asteroid of Wuhan popping up again is bringing in a lot of those triggers as well, and looking at, you can look back at October 13th, go back and look at the news cycle. It was crazy. It was crazy. So we're going to hear things, something to do with kids, um, things to do with gatherings and people coming together. They're just going to put the fear of God in everything, right? And this is pushing through it. And I go, Sunday, we have Fortuna on top of Eris, which is the Trojan horse, gets into play. And then within 1.5 weeks, we have all the planets on one side. So right now it's Mars only on the other side, on one, or not Mars, Mercury's only on the one side, and just now we're gonna have everything on one side, so that's intensity when you're looking at it. So this is where we're gonna have shootings, riots, people freaking out. I just have a feeling there's something more that's gonna happen within the government. Um, I j there's gonna be in the government of Canada, things are getting pushed to a point where, uh it's funny 'cause I feel, the conservatives are trying to keep civil with everything, are trying to keep things together, trying to keep things together, but it's going to get to a point where, no, we can't. I mean, it's great you guys are debating this shit in parliament, okay, debate it, but it's not helping anybody else on the street, and that's where things are really going to start to escalate, because people are going to get tired when they see the police stand by and protect a certain sector of the population and listen to what they are chanting and not doing anything about it. Because it's one thing to have a argument about something, but it's another thing to have somebody come out and basically pull a knife and say, "Well, I'm gonna blah 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 you know?" And it's that's the thing. That's what's happening. So the threats, you can't take those threats lightly because of what has happened in the past, because of what our prime minister has let into our country and who he's let into our country, and the dismantlement that it's causing, and the horrific people that he has let in that he hasn't vetted. That is going to start to escalate next week. People are going to start saying, no more, as we go through this, and as we're going to be seeing it in Europe and the Middle East. And Saturn's not direct until November. So, and we thought that Saturn and Pluto, we're getting around the corner, and then Saturn goes retrograde and says, sorry, and he's in a semi square to, you know, to Pluto. So he's like, no, we're still in cahoots here, baby. We still got the down low on the shit that's gonna go down. You guys have seen nothing yet. We haven't even reached the corner to go around the corner. They're blocking you from that corner. They're blocking you from going around the corner because you got to deal with the shit that's going on now. We got to deal with all the government stuff that's going to be coming up. We're going to be dealing with shortages, huge shortages. Like I'm talking about huge shortages. You're going to have a huge loss of people losing jobs because there's people won't have the money to spend in all these retail sectors. So a lot of places are going to be like, I can't afford you. We're supposed to be making 4 grand a day, but we're only doing 1,000. Where's the other 3 grand going to come so I can pay you and pay my rent and pay everything else and get stock in the store? Wake up call with all of this. So this is where it's like, okay, what do I have in place? What am I doing to have the things in place? Who are my connections that I have? And also, if somebody's entering into new relationships right now, and I've warned my daughter about this ain't the time, man. No, 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 no. Not with Juno and Lilith together. Oh God. And the South Node in Libra. No, 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 no. Not a time to do it. Nah, that's calling for a disaster. Just saying. So this is where Biden will go full tilt when it comes to um COVID. And if Trump wins, they're still gonna the DOJ is gonna try and do something to get Trump out. Maybe not. Maybe I'm all wrong. Maybe this is all wrong, and maybe it's like, okay, no, tomorrow, next week is gonna be sweet, loving week, and everything's gonna go, you know, fabulous. So, yeah, we'll go with that. And with Mars going retrograde, that's turning beyond crazy. All the lies all show up this coming week. All the shit starts showing up, and we start seeing it because the evil is going to just like they're going to just start throwing things out. You know, that's what's going to happen. So we're going to see things about the war, a new variant. This isn't like Omicron or any of those. This is like a different one that's going to come in, and money. So things to do with the bank is going to come in with all of this. We're heading into the big waves, baby, the big waves, and it's coming down quick. Crazy, just crazy. I do have to say I am a little exhausted with everything, and I feel just as overwhelmed with it all, just as everybody else. How do I handle it? I handle it through prayers and meditation. Taking some time and doing affirmations is very important. Keeping my connections with the people around me that I love, and the people I want to stay connected with. The only reason I found out about my brother-in-law dying was that my kids are in contact with Chrissy, her daughter, and on her Facebook page. So she's the one who posted about her dad. And then I had to go and find out from my brother. So, and texted my brother to find out what was going on. So how's Thanksgiving weekend? Well, this is where everything's going to start hitting the fan. I mean, I I mean, things are just going to start getting tight. I mean, if they're coming home, I'm going to say there might be delays. If people are wanting to get out of the country, they better find a safe place to get out of the country in. This isn't. It isn't a time for travel, I guess, but people are still going to travel. They're still going to do their thing. Um, they're going to find that I just get a lot of delays. A lot of things aren't there. Um, Mexico, I mean, with the hurricanes hitting with Mexico, depending where they are in Mexico, also, because I just saw pictures of Acapulco, which looked devastating. Um, so that's the other thing, for people. I mean, I what am I gonna say? I personally wouldn't travel anywhere right now. Like, I would love to go to France, but I wouldn't go to France. But people are gonna go to France. People are gonna go to Scotland. People are gonna go to these places. But when there's horrific things going on, your safety is at risk. Your safety is at risk, right? When there's devastation happening in a country like Mexico, like when there's devastation happening in a country, do you think people are going to give a shit about you and your resort or in your house? You're the last thing on their mind, you know? And that's the same thing with what's going on in Iran. And I think the other part too is the bomb. People are going to be really afraid of the bomb and what's going to happen with the bomb, and how that's going to escalate with everything. But as I said before to people, this war, I mean, all these timelines are coming in. We got the Revolutionary War, we got the Civil War, we got World War II, all coming in together as one, right? And I don't know, a lot of people just aren't awakening to it until they go to the grocery store. I mean, if people can afford to go to Mexico, God bless you, because to me, you're in a different, or people traveling, even people traveling, like I have people who travel to Scotland, people traveling to Scotland and France, and that you're in a different pay than the average Joe who's struggling. To me, if you're able to go to Mexico, if you're able to go to Costa Rica, you're able to go to all these different places. Money isn't a worry for you, you know? And even though people may say money's a worry for you, but you're still able to do those things. If I'm not trying to condemn people, but if you're still able to do those things, you know, it's in it comes into being in your hands kind of thing. So Well, it sounds mean. It sounds mean, but it's just one of those things that, um, like you're seeing what's going on in Ireland, you're seeing what's going on in England. And I see there's areas, of course, there's always nice areas and stuff like that, but you have to be on high alert, you know? Safety is a concern. Savoring pleasures. Fully embrace the bliss in your life. Fully embrace. Fully embrace what's really good in your life and what's going well. Fully embrace all the beauty that is around you and that surrounds you, and letting go. Surrender the joy as to ebbing the flow of life. So savor the pleasure, but let go of what no longer is working. Some things for people, a lot of things of letting go, they're just it's yeah, a lot of things are just gonna get just be taken away. They're gonna be just taken away from people. Like they're not gonna have it anymore. And so that's why it's so important to look at the little things that are going well and allow yourself to go with the ebb and the flow, and allow yourself to do that so that you're able to communicate from the depths of your being. Allow yourself to communicate. Talk to God. Talk to your divine. Do your affirmations. Come into that connection with them, and that'll allow you to savor with the beautiful energies that are around you. So there you go. God bless, and the goddess bless you all, and may the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you. And let's, let's just take one day at a time and enjoy the ride, because that's what we're here for. So have a blessed one, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye bye. See ya.